Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to our playthrough of that game where an awkward teenage mage and her insane court jester companion go on an epic adventure to fix the mess that they caused.
Oh
Wait,
yeah,
wait, she's a teenager?
Yeah,
I'm
of
sorry,
course.
the early to mid 90s CG makes her look like she's 30.
a
Well, I
little.
mean, they have her revealing way too much skin, so that automatically makes me think that she's a teenager, due to the video game laws.
It's good that you brought that up because it's an excellent segue into something I wanted to talk about, and that's the change in character design that happened when Crystal Dynamics did the second game. Um, in this game, the characters had like a pretty specific portrayal that Toys for Bob stuck to in both the character design and the art style and even the voice acting. And Crystal Dynamics kind of threw it out. Now, Pandemonium 2 is by far the superior game, just in terms of game design. Like, the gameplay is more fun. But the way Fargus and Nikki are portrayed, and even the way the story is written, is just like... like...
Okay, so I looked up the box art for Pandemonium 2. I don't mind the girl's new design. It's not, from what I'm looking at, that different. Like, I like the green better than the white. But and I can't
it's
tell
not
what
just her
paint-
design, it's the way she's presented in the game's FMV cutscenes, where the emphasis is on how much of a vixen she is.
Okay.
Like, she even, like, does a sexy little dance of victory in her end when she's, like, controlling the cosmos, because she has phenomenal cosmic power now.
The jester dude's face is extremely scary, and
Yes.
I'm normally a pro clowns kind of person. I think they get a bad rap, but
Fargus is...
yeah.
He's, like, it levels of scary.
Well, he reminds me a little bit of the jokester. Which is the for those uninitiated, is the alternate universe where good guys are bad guys and bad guys are good guys.
So jokester is Batman. Who's Batman?
No, that I think it's Universe 3, Court of the Owlman and stuff.
Oh, okay.
Now, mostly, I don't like Pandemonium 2's change in direction because it's just it's just a stark contrast is all. They had an attitude that they were going for with this game that they didn't stick with in the second game. And it has a different tone.
That happened a lot, I find. Maybe not so much in the PS1 era, but definitely in the PS2 and GameCube type era. Games changed tone dramatically between entries. Like the best example I can think of is Jak and Daxter.
Prince of
where
Persia is another good one.
Oh yeah, Prince of Persia, where for some reason somebody dumped like 3 cans of Red Bull into the disc before they shipped it
Like,
out.
you know, Prince of Persia Sands of Time had this cartoony atmosphere and this fun humor. And then the second game, the prince is suddenly Wolverine, and the opening FMV has like a 10-second close-up of some scantily clad woman's bare ass. So yeah,
It also spent way too much time. It also spent way too much time at Hot Topic between games.
they dumped like,
like-
3 gallons of testosterone into the game, and I think nobody liked it. So in the third game, they tried to find a balance. They brought back the original voice actor, tried to keep the realistic art style and some of the sex appeal, but dialed down the sex appeal so that it was more reasonable, you know? But it was that kind of like they were trying to be taken seriously, but the trying to be taken seriously only like made them look like they were trying to be taken seriously.
Like the best way I can describe, I haven't played them, but the best way I can describe the difference between Prince of Persia: Sands of Time and Warrior Within is a 10-year-old versus a 13-year-old. Or a 10-year-old is usually just like, yeah, you know, I'm pretty chill. I hang out, you know, I'm fun. And then when you deal with a 13-year-old and they're the least tolerable person on the entire planet.
You're not wrong.
Oh, early teenagers are way worse than like 9 and 10-year-olds.
But you know, Sands of
Yeah.
Time for the time had a pretty good story, good acting, good characters. What few of them there were in the game anyway, because most everyone in that world was dead or turned into sand zombies or something.
Yeah, it's not that Sands of Time didn't have dark elements to it. It's just that it didn't feel like it was powered on Mountain Dew
It didn't.
comics.
It didn't help that at that point in time, graphics pulled off cartoony art styles way better than they did the realistic stuff Warrior Within and Two Thrones did. But
So, since I haven't played any of them, I know that people generally think that Sands of Time holds up relatively well. Do people are people still down? Because I remember people didn't really like Warrior Within as
Warrior
much when
Within
it came
is
out.
is a good game, setting aside the tonal oddities. It just has elements in it that don't gel as well with the gameplay that Sands of Time established, so it's a bit of a...
It tries to be way more combat heavy.
Yeah, that too, and it wasn't the best combat system. It's kind of like when Assassin's Creed started getting more combat heavy. No, please. Stop. You made this combat system unwieldy specifically to discourage combat, now you're giving us combat-only levels. Please stop. But, yeah.
Well, that was probably the God of War impact, I would have to imagine, because... Oh, wait, no, I think
God of War came out in 2005, so
Oh,
not
Prince of Persia came out in
particularly.
2004. Okay, then never mind. That's my theory. Completely thrown out the window.
I mean, you're not entirely wrong, because a lot of franchises tried to blatantly ape God of War style.
Yeah, at that
but
time.
I guess we can't blame God of War for this specific instance then.
Yeah. So I think at the end of this level is our first heart container upgrade. I might be misremembering that, but I have to get to a certain point first. One thing I want to mention about the first heart container, though, is that when I looked up a guide for where to find it, yeah, I looked up guides for all the heart containers, because I didn't want to spend 3 years on this game. But, the guides all said, oh, you have to avoid this key and go this way and take this roundabout route. No. If you're Nikki, you can just jump on up and... run straight to the heart container. It's actually a really easy heart container to get. I'm not even sure Fargus wouldn't be able to do it, but Nikki definitely can. There is a roundabout route you can take to get there that you'll close off to yourself if you grab a certain key too early, but apart from that, it's not a big deal.
Are those red spikes instant kill?
No, they
no?
damage you and knock you back, I think.
Okay.
Watch out for the knockback, though, It's very much an old 2D platformer in that respect.
Do you have Sonic 1 syndrome?
Oof. Yeah, you see what I'm talking about there? I mean, you have mid-air control. You can correct for knockback to a degree, but
I more mean if you get hit and you get knocked into something else, do you have...
you have
invincibility
invincibility,
frames,
yeah.
Okay.
Not for very long, but long enough to recover. Oh, yeah. This is where you have to go to get the heart container. Like, you can continue onward, I think. Yeah, Fargus can definitely make this jump. Just jump up here and go straight to the heart container. Don't follow that nonsense about going the other way and missing and not taking the key. You just have to go this way. Oh fuck me.
I will say, though, I really like this 3D 2.5D kind of approach, and I wish more games tried to do something with it, because this was, 2D platformers were a tried and true.
Mario 64 changed the game
Oh
for
yeah,
everyone.
But
being 2D just wasn't good enough for most people at the time.
Yeah, but retrospectively, a game like Pandemonium has aged a lot better than a lot of the older 3D platformers did back in that experimental era. It was good, I think, that there were still games like this coming out to sort of give us something a little bit more graceful to play while the developers worked out how to do the 3D stuff properly.
It's just, the 2D platformers have come back in a big way since the mid and late 2000s especially, but I just kind of feel like I miss the attempt at ambitious graphics or level design like this. Like, Klonoa and this game seem to be the only ones I can think of that actually try to change the level design to do 2D level design in 3D like this, where you can change which path you're going on and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But even games like Kirby 64, which were just 3D backgrounds but 2D games, I think are more interesting to look at than many of the 2D games we get nowadays, like your new Super Mario Brothers or your Donkey Kong Countries and stuff like that.
Some of them have a...
just
Yeah, some of them have a kind of cheap cobbled together look to them that's not pleasant.
They feel very flat,
Yeah.
is the thing. And I feel like if you're going for a 3D world, the grandeur of it is part of the appeal.
Well,
you know?
you can...
So-
Well, I mean, Donkey Kong Country Returns and Tropical Freeze are definitely 3D games. In that regard, they just don't move around in the Z-axis as much as, say, this or Klonoa. New Super Mario Brothers' problem is just that everything about it is bland as hell.
Well, I don't even think that, like, Donkey Kong Country Returns does enough with it. Like, sometimes you go to the background, which is like, okay, fine. But a lot of games do that. I kind of want more shifting angles.
You
like
can
this.
achieve that kind of grandeur without... yeah, I'm having some trouble jumping on this enemy for that power-up. Hang on. I decided to play as Fargus at least once just to... Oh, damn it. But... I did this for a reason, and that's that I think Fargus... Oh, yeah, his I think his advantage is that he has a melee attack.
Oh, okay.
For all the good that does you.
I was going to say that doesn't sound very useful.
Yeah. I wanted to see if... Yeah, he has like a cartwheeling melee attack. I wanted to see if he could use his melee attack to get past certain enemies that Nikki couldn't, but no, she can.
That looks less like a cartwheel attack and more that he's stuck in a Gary's Mod video.
Okay, so a quick Google search says that he can transform into a dragon, rhino, frog, and turtle.
Oh, no, that's something that happens at level-specific points regardless of who you're playing as.
Oh, okay, then never mind. That's not interesting. Yeah.
I have no idea why I see so many Let's Plays of this game playing as Fargus. Does he have some hidden appeal that doesn't occur to me? Like,
I think the clown is more striking on thumbnails than generic girl character.
I suppose. I mean, I wouldn't exactly call Nikki generic, but...
I like
What
the tights.
what we need to do is put Shadow the Hedgehog on all the thumbnails, and that'll work better.
I am Shadow, the ultimate jester.
Now this is interesting. Like, you can jump on the shrunken enemies, and you can walk on the shrunken enemies to kill them, but apparently the cartwheel attack doesn't work on shrunken enemies. Okay.
Huh. Okay, that's a trustworthy... that actually is a trustworthy
Okay,
sign.
I think this might be where another of the heart containers is. I'm not sure, though. I might be thinking of a later level. But there's a heart container where you have to get through a certain enemy, a certain sliding section without losing... Man, I wish I was Nikki so I could double jump up there.
Jeez.
Thank you.
So, can you go back to an old level once you beat it?
Oh yeah, you can just go back on the map screen.
Okay, so nothing's
Why-
ever
why
blocked out.
Why are the platforms there if there's nothing up there?
I think you were supposed to be able to like jump with timing and get up there no problem, but
No, I mean, why are the platforms there if there's nothing up there to get?
was there nothing up there to get, or did I grab it?
Yeah, there was nothing up there to get.
Huh.
There weren't even like coins. or
Maybe it was
anything.
just there to be an easy way to avoid the spikes down below. I don't know. Woo!
Oh, other question. If you run out of lives, is it game over and you go back all the way to the beginning, or just to the beginning of the level?
I think you might. A game over? I'm not sure. I've never done it.
Since it's a password game, I imagine it's just restart the game.
But I mean, you copy down a password every level and you'll be fine. It's like if I were playing this normally, I'd just keep a notebook of passwords with me. But I'm not. I'm trying to play this for a recording, and that makes password systems just really too annoying to want to bother with.
Well, thankfully, since we live in the modern day, you can just screenshot the page. You don't even have to write it down anymore.
Yeah.
Which is nice.
Well, I don't think the PS3 has a screenshot function like that. The PS4 definitely does.
Let's just snap a pic with your phone or something at the TV or whatever.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's also. I do that a lot.
If you tried to
whenever
do
I'm-
that with a camera back in the day, you'd have to like really watch the lighting and stuff, and then you'd have to check the picture after it developed to see if it worked.
Yeah.
Yeah,
yes.
Nintendo Power had to publish tips on how to do that for their point total or whatever
Yeah,
contest.
because too
'Cause
many
you could-
kids got angry that they took a picture and then
and it didn't work, and they had to turn. They have to, as kids do, you have to turn off the system and all that.
yeah, and not to mention that developing film is expensive, and you have to be like, Mom, can I use your camera to take a picture of my high score in Mega Man? And other stuff like that. And, of course, nobody wants to waste film on a picture of your kid's high score, especially when once it's done, all you get is the TV glare and all that stuff.
Oh,
Yeah.
damn it. Okay, so
Like, yeah, because phones didn't have... Not the phones. Cameras didn't have previews then. Like, I guess maybe if
Nope.
you were lucky, you had a Polaroid, which could... Like, I mean, I guess you could just take another one if it didn't look good from that. But if you had, like, a normal camera, then you were kind of SOL.
They started to become a little bit more common in like the early 2000s when digital cameras started to become a thing.
Yeah, because by the early to mid-2000s, digital cameras were, like maybe $100 at that point. So they became a much more commonplace item.
And then less than 5 years later, cameras started getting phones. So fuck you, camera industry.
Yeah, although it did take a little while for phone cameras to be decent, because
Yeah.
my old phone camera from when I was in the 6th grade, like my very first cell phone, you couldn't understand what any of it was when you were taking that.
Your first cell phone was 6th grade.
jumps like that
Yeah.
last one, by the way, are the reason I really prefer playing as Nikki, because like a lot of the jumps are very, very precise in when you need to jump on a particular slope in order to make the jump, and having the ability to correct. Oh damn it! I lost the power up, and now I've got these things in my way. These things jump when you jump, and they also like. You can't melee them to death, and you can't jump them to death because obviously they're a big spike.
But yeah, my first phone was in 6th grade because I
It took me till high school to get my first phone.
well, I had to walk home every day, and it was a pretty decent walk, and my parents are worrywart, so I also did a bunch of different stuff after school as well, so sometimes I would, be late and whatnot, and I needed a way to call them. I wasn't allowed to text anybody until I was in high school because it cost too much money to add texting onto your plan. Do you remember rollover minutes? Those were
Yep.
the days.
Nowadays,
Those were actually
nowadays
not the
rollover
days.
only applies to like your data.
Prepaid cell phones and stuff, yeah.
Yeah, the phones that you give people who are too old / stubborn to want to learn how a phone actually works.
Man, I don't know if I just picked the worst level for Fargus, but I have like no reason to use Fargus's ability in this level.
I do like that they changed the camera so that you can see the rocks falling in the best way.
The camera
I
angle
guess, if
changes do work fairly well, although there are some angles that aren't quite as good as they could be. Oh, damn it. You had to put that curveball right at the end of the level, didn't you?
No, you got
Yes.
through it regardless.
Oh god, that's terrifying.
I'm coming after you, kids.
Derpy PS1 model expressions. See y'all in part 3, ladies and gentlemen, where we'll be playing as Nikki of the magical double jump again.